Kiss Thy Enemy, a Dramione Fanfiction by Belle Jackson. You can find more info about the fanfiction and the author down in the description box. Chapter 1, Pansy's Plan. It all started with the new Weasley product that had come out 2 days ago. Naturally, the whole school had it. Trappe d'amour it was called, enchanted to imprison its victims in a circle until they either 1. Admitted their love for each other, or 2. Shared a passionate kiss. The product was aimed for younger witches who desired love, well, at least infatuation. It said that, if used right, it would help the two inside realize their true feelings. And that was good enough for Pansy. What her and Draco had was magic. No pun intended. He just didn't know it yet. So what better way to figure it out than a kiss? She had planned everything out to a T, and today she would set her plan into motion. She skipped charms and made her way to the corridor, then uncapped the scarlet-red bottle. She carefully poured the content into a circle and smirked when the pink liquid soaked into the ground. Circularum amoris, she chanted, moving her hands in swift motions. She finished just as class got out, and students filled the corridor. She didn't worry though. The enchantment would draw Draco in, and once he was caught, she would accidentally follow behind him. It was the perfect plan. Well, it was almost the perfect plan. Chapter 2. Enemies. Draco had initiated the fight by bumping into her, causing her books to fall. Then, after smirking to himself, he had the audacity to tell her to watch where she was going. He waited in anticipation for her snappy comeback because he loved arguing with her. He loved the way her face turned red and the way her nose flared, the way her eyes went wild, and of course, he loved the way she could think quickly and keep up with his insults. She let the things he said roll down her back as if they didn't even bother her anymore. She was both undeniably irritating and incredibly amazing, all at once. Maybe that's why he loved her. Not that he would act on such unnecessary feelings. She was the enemy, after all. "Sod off, ferret," she growled, picking up her books and securing them in her bag. By the time she had safely stored them away, he had turned around and glared at her. She applauded herself for getting under his skin, and in front of an audience too. His dangerous silver eyes bore into hers, and she couldn't help but shiver. Not from fear, but rather from the way he looked at her. He was devilishly handsome, with his platinum blonde locks and a body that could kill. She was surprised that she didn't notice it before. Yes, he was the enemy, but she could still look. It's not like she would act on these feelings. "What did you say?" he snapped, stalking towards her and shaking her from her thoughts. "Are you purebloods hard of hearing?" she questions. They were inches apart, but she wouldn't back down. His eyes twitched angrily, but he smiled in return. She was testing him, urging him to mess up and say the M word, which had been banned from the school since the end of the war. A word he also had banned himself from saying since the day he watched his aunt etched it into her skin. He wouldn't use that word, just like she wouldn't use Death Eater. They might have been enemies, but that didn't mean they went below the belt. It was their unspoken agreement. He opened his mouth to send another insult her way, but a loud collection of gasps made the two look away. They had forgotten they had drawn a crowd. A pink circle shot up, surrounding them, no longer concealing itself in the school's floor. There were a bunch of high-pitched giggles, jealous groans, sly smirks, and one outraged cry. Yet the two still hadn't registered what was happening. The bell chimed, warning the students to head to class, but no one, except for Hermione, who refused to be late for class, tried to move. She walked towards the pink circle, thinking of nothing, only to be knocked on her bum by an invisible force. "What?" she panicked, every possibility running through her head as to why she couldn't leave, but she soon figured it out. She gulped. Draco had figured it out as well, and wasn't sure whether he should jump for joy or flinch back in fear at the glare Granger had sent him. She wasn't one to be messed with when school was involved, and this unexpected event would interfere with her studies. He didn't need a repeat of third year. "What did you do?" she barked. "Don't blame me, Granger." "Take it down," she yelled. "And how am I supposed to do that?" he asked. "Figure it out." "You're supposed to be the bloody brightest witch of our age. You figure it out." They both whipped out their wand, desperately tried to take the enchantment down, tried and failed. Around them, students were laughing, waiting to see what the two sworn enemies would do. It wasn't long before they started chanting for the two to kiss. Hermione looked down and bit her lip, knowing that she only had one option, while Draco cursed his cheeks for betraying their natural color. Then, before he could register what had happened, Hermione's small hand wrapped around the back of his neck, and her warm, soft lips were pressed against his. He instantly reacted, moving his arm to wrap them around her, but she was gone and out of the circle before he even opened his eyes. He watched her as she retreated, then growled at the bystanders, whose faces were completely shocked. "What the hell are you looking at?" he spewed, before storming off to his next class, as if nothing happened. But it did. He kissed the Gryffindor princess, and that thought alone had his heart pounding and his mind racing.